What's going on, everyone? Juice Bags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders 2. Been a little while since I did Forest Biome. I know you guys got tired of seeing me do this one, but this is just the ultimate defense testing map, as you just get this big, glorious lane of hotness here with a 2.5 lane, two ground lanes plus the flyer lane. And we are gonna slime it up this time around. Now, I'm going with anti-chaos, defense rate, and anti-melee. Lots of people like to go with self-ignite, which would use defense rate and anti-mod ideally, and then fire, as the slime is naturally providing the oil. Mass destruction, and augmented explosions. Now, you got to benefit either way. If you go with the self-ignite, then of course the Dragon Lords are automated. If you have any other defenses on the map, then you're going to be given those defenses kind of a boost, as the enemy will be ignited and taking increased damage. However, if you're using the slime as your main defense, you're going to get a little bit more damage out of them if you don't bother with the ignite and you stack on 2 anti-mods. So that's what I'm doing. Anti-chaos, defense rate, anti-melee. We've got some thick vines on those trees. Let's go ahead and check it out. Let's go ahead and start off over on this far lane. I will need to add something in for flyers. So what are we going to do? Let's see. I have a Skyguard. Let's get rid of all for one. And we'll go with, say, just power transfer. Actually, yeah, that'll work. That'll work. We'll go with power transfer on that one. So destruction, deadly strikes, and power transfer. We'll use that for our flyers. We're going to be training up. I am going to go heavy on the trees. So we're going to go 2 trees here. Now, this map, you got 1,250 DU. So it's a little over 300 DU per lane. So with that in mind, you do want to budget it out still, without a doubt. Let's go something like that. Hopefully just that one will cover it. And then we are going to want to get our slimes in. Let's see, how many slimes are we going to be able to do? Let's go, we can go 2 slimes and a Skyguard and then do full boosts. Or we could go 3 slimes. Let's go 2 slimes and the Skyguard. Let's try that out. See if that's going to be enough to get the job done here. We will be getting a little benefit out of that thick vines as well. So any of the trash mobs that are rolling down should get handled. But this will allow us to get the full boost with pylons, a buff beam, and a boost aura. So we'll go with something like that. That will give us a little bit of leftovers on the main lane as well, which will be quite nice. Let's do the same thing here. We'll go with 2 trees. Let's see. Are we going to be able to reflect it? Let's just try the 1 reflect beam again. And then here, of course, we don't have the Skyguard, and we do have more enemies. So let's go ahead and go with 3 slimes here. We won't have any flyers to worry about on this lane, so we'll be good to go there. And we've already got our destructive pylon down. Let's get our buff beam down. And we'll get that boost aura as well. I kind of wanted to get the trees in on the boost aura. Something like that ought to work. That way we get a little bit more crit damage on that boost aura. Let's do the same thing here, and then we will dump everything else on the main lane. So we'll get 2 trees in, just as close together as we can get them. That way we only have to use the 1 reflect beam. And then what? We'll get the reflect beams, got all my pylons on it, of course. We'll get our 3 slimes in. Say something like that. Is that going to allow me to get a buff beam down here? Let's see. A little wonky, but I think we'll be alright, maybe. Little sketch there, but I think it'll be okay. And then let's go with a boost star as well. And that allows us on our big old boss lane here to really load it up. So we'll put everything that's left. And you see we saved a little DU here and there. So we actually have 400 left. Now here we are going to need that Skyguard, though, of course. Let's go with our 2 trees. I think here we might even... Do we go with a full... Yeah, let's just go ahead and go with an extra node on the reflect, just so we know that we're not going to have any issues. We'll get our destructive pylon down. Let's go ahead and throw our boost star in. And then what is that going to leave? See, well, we can get our buff beam down as well, and then just kind of build based off of that. That leaves 220. Or 230, pardon me. So a fairly generous amount. We could go what? We could go 4 slimes. This is the heavier lane, of course. We could go 4 slimes and the Skyguard Tower. Is that going to work out? Let's see. Man, all kinds of sketch on that one, but it's, I think, in there close enough. And, you know, for the leftovers, you know what? For the leftovers, let's put it on this lane here, because this lane always gets pushed. No doubt, always a problem. We'll spend 20 right here and throw down a lightning strikes. I got just kind of a generic lightning strikes, controller, defense rate, anti-melee. Won't be getting a benefit out of that controller. Deadly strikes, destruction, and power transfer. And let's see how it fares. Let's let it fly here and see what we can get done. The reason I like this map so much, particularly with things like slimes, is you get to kind of see the slimes march out at the baddies. I absolutely love that. There's nothing better than seeing a bunch of bouncy balls going out and going splat. That is for sure. You see our range is a little limited, so the chieftain are popping their bubble a little late. The more upgrades, of course, we get in, the better off we'll be in that department. Let me grab a little mana here and see if we can't get these trees at least semi-repaired up. Once we get through wave 1, I think it'll be pretty easy clap here. It'll be doing really well. Now, of course, if you go with the self-ignite with the fire, the other benefit, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, is the automation of the Dragonlord, where we won't have the Dragonlord automated here, but we are getting slightly more overall damage output, even when you factor in the ignite. Looks like my reflect beam might be a little bit too close. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to move that reflect back just a touch. And then, of course, the more upgrades we get on the trees, the more range we're going to get, which also means the more thick vines we're going to have going on out there. Yoink up all the mana. I think we're going to go right for the tree upgrades. Let's go with a couple of them there. We'll do the same thing over here. These, of course, being completely ignored. They still did pretty decent. They get a little bit of sustain just from, using automation. I do have automation on there, don't I? I do. So yeah, they'll get a little sustain at that. As Thick Vines attacks, you're going to get that automation heal every 0.7 seconds. And let's see. Let's just go ahead and spam it around. It looks like we're going to have enough to do relatively even upgrades. We'll be a little light over on this lane, but we can always help out over here. We do have our first boss rolling out here. This time looks like we're going to have a Malthius, and then I noticed the reflect beam was a little too close. The bombs were exploding on the ground and not bouncing back, so let's move that guy out just a touch. And let's see, where do we want to go from here? Well, it looks like that is it, so let's just let it fly. See how these do. Now, of course, the more upgrades I get, the better off everything should be. With the limited range, we're not exactly hitting things super early. But everything but the chieftain are still getting slapped. It doesn't take more than 1 or 2 slimes, and it's on. These guys pop their heal already, of course. As soon as their heal is up, they're just going to explode, though, yeah. And then all of these little goblins that push down, the Thick Vines does a great job with helping to clear those guys out. Slimes are quite cool. Definitely a very fun defense to use. I know a lot of people use slimes pretty religiously. And lots of fun ways to use them as well with like that self-ignite. You can also, I mean, you can just do a lot of different things. You could add one slime in to, a bee build or a Nimbus build or whatever, and you'd be getting that ignite for free. Looks like those bombs are still, the little Gobu bombs are still hitting the ground there. Might have to want to Might have to come out just a little bit farther. Let's just go ahead and deal with Malthus here. That way we don't have to wait too long. And the rest of it should just all burn up. Oh, Skyguard down. WTF. Let's slap it over here, I guess. We'll just slap that Skyguard right there. Let's go with a couple more tree upgrades. I do want to make sure I'm getting lots of utilization out of the thick vines. We should be either at or close to the range cap now, too. Let's see. After another upgrade, are we going to be there? No, we're still not quite at the range cap yet. But we are getting closer. The range cap on those trees is 3,500, of course, so we are getting closer, just not quite there yet. Let's go ahead and let it fly here for wave number 3. See, now the thick vines is just getting some damage in, because you look at thick vines, it's hitting, I think the range is slightly greater on the trees now than the slimes are. Of course, you can, you know, go with like a deadly. Actually, I'm at the range cap of the slimes already, 3,500. The slime is definitely, it's a really good utility defense. No doubt. It's strong enough to be used as main damage, but additionally, with the possibility of the self-ignite, it provides enough utility where it's just kind of a real nice one to sneak in there, if you like that sort of thing. It is, you know, as I mentioned, very fun to watch. Very fun to watch the bouncy balls rolling out. We gonna make it? Forgot to move that reflect out. I should get that done here. Go ahead and just grab up. Here comes Malthus and Quibs. Malthus is going to sit back there all day again, so... Oh, we got Quibs on the same lane, actually. Not wave 5 yet, so we're not going to have any diversity with those, where those flyers are at. Just need this guy's, there we go. I'm gonna say we just need this buff to expire. Alright, then I think for this last wave, let's go ahead and, jack up the slimage just a touch. We'll get full repairs on all these walls, though. Oh, wave 4. I was thinking we were at wave 5 already. Not quite yet. Jumping ahead just a little bit in my own mind here. Alright, let's just go and let it fly. We do have 79 left. We can throw like an upgrade on that Skyguard there. Let's come up here and see if we can't get a better view of the March of the Slimes. It's a big boom. They, you know, you see the damage numbers going off. They hit for nice amounts of damage without full upgrades. You know, they're just slapping. Absolutely slapping. Lots of 5.7 mils going off. Not too shabby, considering we're not fully upped. And then the explosion radius is quite nice when you use that augmented shard as well. See, we got an ogre this time around. I think we can just let the ogre burn here. Let's see what happens. See if the ogre is going to get handled or if it's going to cause any issues. Nope. Slimes for the win. Ogre burned. Hex throwers, of course, will be a problem as the range is so short. We will sit pretty far out of range there. Couple of wall repairs. How are we doing? I expected this lane to get hurt a little bit more. Seems like this lane is actually doing good. Most of the stuff is getting cleared out down here. We got a Tuskar here now. I think Tuskar will get slapped as well. I'm just going to let Tuskar die here. We'll help out on this other lane here and grab all the mana while we're over here. You see when those slimes hit, Tuskar's health just drops. All right, one more round of upgrades over here. We'll dump whatever else we can in the middle, and let's just go ahead and fire it up for wave number 5 and see how it goes here. Not going to bother collecting up the rest of that mana. We do have our Orc Warlord. I can get some shots in on him, actually. Get him to pop his shield a little early. There we go. Orc Warlord has popped his bubble. And then now that his invulnerability is up, he can just get slapped. And still forgot to move the stupid reflect beam again. Oof. That's alright. We will make it. We will make it. Let's just get on these hex throwers just a touch. We got a siege roller and a captain, so we're going to want to handle that captain for sure. Alright, captain down. And then we've got another siege roller over in the center. But should be easy peasy here. We can just get these siege rollers burned up. Or did we not have another siege roller in the center? I thought another siege roller had popped there on the center, but does not appear. Does not appear like it. We got Quibs for our final boss here. Want to check our reflect beam range. Looks like our reflect beam range is fine, so Quibs can just be ignored. And we'll let the rest of these guys drop off here. For completely ignoring this lane the whole time, I mean, it held pretty stout. The wall, of course, took some nice damage, but overall the lane did hold pretty strong there. But there is a little look at some slimes. Another heavily requested one. I know people wanted me to do the self-ignite slimes, but if you're using it as a main defense, I personally would say, unless you're trying to AFK the Drakenlord, you're going to be better off with 2 anti-mods than doing the self-ignite. Even though the self-ignite is quite cool, the math is still true if the slimes are your main defense. Now, obviously, if you've got other defenses that down and you only want to use like 1 slime per lane and then use other things, then, of course, that's where that ignite would really give you quite the payday there. But that will do it for now. Thanks an absolute ton for watching. Once again, no 10 out of 10 mod from the Golden Ingot. But thank you once again, and I will see ya next time around. Take it easy.